So just a quick review of special right triangles in Trig for your unit test on Friday. Here we have a 45-45-90 and a 30-60-90. Remember the relationship between the legs. Let's look at a few problems. These are the problems from Delta Math that'll be in your unit review. Find the length of x. This is a 45-45-90. The leg is 6. So the hypotenuse is going to be 6 square roots of 2. The next one says find the length of x. They're giving you the hypotenuse. X is the leg. So x times the square root of 2 would be equal to 1. Divide by the square root of 2. X is equal to 1 over the square root of 2. But remember, we can't leave it like that. We have to rationalize the denominator. So we have to multiply by the square root of 2 on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to get the square root of 2 over 2 for that answer. Next, find the length of x. And this is the short side. And they're giving me the hypotenuse. This is the short side. This is the hypotenuse. The relationship is that if you take the short side and you multiply it by 2, you get the hypotenuse. So when you divide by 2, x is going to be equal to 5. Find x in this triangle. This is a 30-60-90. I am given the short side. In order to find the hypotenuse, I need to double it. So 2 times the square root of 7 is x. You can't multiply those together because 2 is on the outside and square root of 7 is on the inside. The triangle below is an equilateral triangle. Find the length of x in simplest radical form. If this is an equilateral, then when we divide it up, we're going to have a 30-60-90. This is my short side. My short side times 2 is going to equal x, so it's going to be 22. We also have some trig questions here. We're going to start with just a simple Pythagorean theorem problem. Find the length of the third side. 6 squared equals 4 squared plus x squared. 36 is equal to 16 plus x squared. Subtract 16 from both sides. X squared is 20. Take the square root. Break that down. That's 4 and 5. So we're going to get 2 square roots of 5 for the missing side. Solve for x here. Remember, sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. I'm going to put smiley at this angle. This is my opposite. This is my hypotenuse. That tells me that I'm going to be using the sine. The sine of 32 is equal to x over 6.8. You'll need to take your calculator, however you want to enter that. If you want to enter 6.8 times the sine of 32, that will give you your answer. I got 3.6 on this problem. Round to the nearest tenth. If it's round to the nearest hundredth, it's 3.60. Next question. Solve for x. I'm going to start by putting my smiley face here. This is my adjacent. This is my hypotenuse. That leads me to using the cosine. So the cosine of 65 is equal to x over 7. I'm going to use my calculator and multiply 7 times the cosine of 65. And I'm going to get x to equal 2.96 if it's to the nearest hundredth. If it's to the nearest whole number, no, nearest tenth. When you round this to the nearest tenth, you're going to get 3.0. It actually came out to be 2.958 on my calculator. The 5 is going to make the 9 go up. You're going to want to enter that as your answer. Solve for x. So we're going to start by putting smiley here. This is my hypotenuse. This is my adjacent. That's going to tell me to use the cosine. So the cosine of 34 is equal to x over 25. And I'm going to multiply both sides by 25. So 25 times the cosine of 34 is 20.7, rounded to the nearest tenth. Harper leans a 24-foot ladder against a wall. It forms a 69-degree angle with the ground. What is the horizontal distance? Here's the wall right here. So this is the number I'm looking for. So here's Smiley. This is adjacent. This is hypotenuse. So I'm going to use the cosine of 69 degrees is equal to x over 24. So 24 times the cosine of 69 degrees is equal to 8.6. This was really fast, but I hope that you will go back and you will look at these problems. If there's anything you have a question about, you need to ask me. There will probably also be a question on there where you are given the measurements and asked to find the angle. So if we're looking for x, you would put smiley face right here. This is your opposite. This is your adjacent. That's going to tell you to use the tangent function. So the tangent of x is equal to 4 over 3. Now you'll want to use second tan, and it's going to say tan with a -1, and just enter that ratio. And we get 53.3 degrees, 0.13 degrees. You might just call it 53 degrees if you are rounding to the nearest degree.